a lot of people are kind of taking the mick out of this event. The Billy Joe Saunders Sefat is Sufi show at the Lamex Stadium, which is Stevenage football ground in Hertfordshire. A lot of people making fun of it because Frank Warren's shows have got this kind of cheap and nasty vibe about them, right? And this show at the Lamex Stadium, people are making fun because they're saying it's a typical Frank Warren budget type situation where he's trying to sell this is a stadium fight when all reality this is a very, very small football club in a very small venue. And he's trying to act like it's Wembley Stadium or something. So I get that. I know people are laughing at the whole stadium angle of this, but to be honest with you, the more locations in the United Kingdom that can get championship level boxing, and I know Sufi is a poor opponent, but still, it's Billy Joe Saunders is a championship level fighter. They're going to have some decent fighters on the undercard, and you can't have premier level cards everywhere in the UK, okay? At least not yet. So to have an event like this in a little town like Stevenage, you can see what it means to them. This is the front page of the local Stevenage newspaper. They got it right on the front page, right? I mean, you're not going to see this on the front page of a London newspaper, even if this was happening in London. You're not going to see this on the front page of a Manchester newspaper, even if it was happening in Manchester. But in a small place like Stevenage, this is front page news. Because if it wasn't this, it would be, an old lady lost a cat up a tree. Or a couple teenagers got caught with half a spliff or something like that. That's what it would be on a normal news week for a place like Stevenage. But they've got this event here now and they're making the most of it. And I feel happy for boxing, for the people of that particular area in Hertfordshire where Billy Joe Saunders is actually from and where Frank Warren actually lives, by the way. So I feel happy for them that they're going to have an event there and they're going to attract, people to the event who wouldn't normally maybe be able to get to some of the other shows. So I think it's good. And all jokes aside, it's part of the growth of boxing. So I do applaud Frank Warren. I like the fact that Frank Warren brought back boxing to the Royal Albert Hall because there was a little hiatus there. I've always felt like that Royal Albert Hall from all the way back in the 80s when there were shows on, and even earlier than that. But I first started seeing boxing shows at the Albert Hall back in the 80s. I always thought it was a great venue. It's like a cauldron. I love the design of it. It's a beautiful building. So I always liked that. I applaud Frank Warren for bringing shows back to the Albert Hall. And I applaud him for doing this at Stevenage Football Ground. It's something different. It's something a little out of the box. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all good. I do wish, of course, that Billy Joe was fighting somebody better than this guy, who most people have never heard of. And I did a brief rundown of his boxing record in a video a few weeks back where I pointed out the fact that this guy actually lost to an Anthony Yard opponent. And we know Anthony Yard has been fighting atrocious level opposition. So to be losing to someone who Anthony Yard has been fighting, that's not a good look. But that's what we have here with a Sufi. The only plus that I can tell you about a Sufi is that he is a big guy. He's naturally much bigger than Billy Joe Saunders. But on the undercard, you're going to have Joe Joyce. I know it's going to be against Ustinov, and that's not particularly good, is it? But either way, you can't have everything. And to be having a show in a place like Stevenage, it's unusual for them to have championship boxing. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are any of you going to be going to this event? Now, some people have said they don't want to go to this event because it's going to be full of Billy Joe Saunders fans who many will say are kind of a disruptive crowd. Because I remember there was members of my boxing group who went to the Billy Joe Saunders Chris Eubank fight, and they said that the conduct of the Saunders fans was absolutely disgusting. that people were having their seats stolen by Saunders fans, and when they came back from the toilet or whatever, they were basically being intimidated and being told you're not sitting back in your seats. And this was going on and happening to a lot of people, that they apparently trashed the toilets and just made a whole mess of the place. This is what people were telling me, multiple people in my boxing group, for the Billy Joe, Chris Eubank Jr. fight. I don't know if that poor conduct of Billy Joe fans is continued, but if some people have had that kind of experience at a Billy Joe show before, they're probably going to be reluctant to go to this fight. So let me know about that. But at the same time, you're going to have, you have to imagine it's going to be majority Billy Joe fans. I was going to mention Joe Joyce, but Joe Joyce doesn't really have that big a fan base, does he? Not yet. Billy Joe's definitely going to have more fans. He's from the area and they're going to come out and support him. So let me know how you feel about all that. But just as an event happening in a small town like this, championship level boxing, I think is good. So yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel, what's happening. I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.